All right, guys. So welcome back, Yvonne. It's been what a good year since we last spoke, and you've been doing so much in this space. I've never met a hard-working woman as well as the IOD, but also as an author. And you've launched your next book, Cracking the Change Management Code, which is a very interesting book that you're also talking about. But also, is that correct? Am I on the right track
Yes,
or?
so the Cracking the Change Management Com was the first book, which we actually spoke about, yes, last year.
Right.
And not last year, 2 years ago now, right? Because we
two
are in
years ago.
2024, so it was 2 years ago.
Long
But
time.
that's right. But last year, on 17th of October, I have released my second book, which is
That's
called
right. Yeah.
Managing Change, The Science of Happy Endings. Right,
Which we're going to
yes.
discuss about. Yes.
Yes.
And it's amazing how much you've done in the last sort of year. And I noticed you were going back and forth in terms of writing this book, and you finally got it out on Amazon. It's got a 5-star review, and it's doing great. And we're here to discuss that. So first things first, Yvonne, how are you since we last spoke?
I'm doing very well. So the book is not just only on Amazon, just to be clear, it's actually available globally in all the
Right.
sort of major bookstores. So whether it's Waterstone, and you can buy it in
Okay.
Australia,
Lots going on.
Japan, and even
Hmm.
in US. So it's available globally. And I know that because obviously we discuss with publisher, but there are some people that have actually contacted me from other side of the world,
Yeah.
and that have purchased the book, so it's available everywhere.
And you've
But
worked
no,
so
I'm
hard to
I'm
do it, haven't you? You've worked so hard to do it. Yes.
Yeah, well, I guess I enjoy all aspects of all the sort of different projects that I take part in.
Hmm.
Whether this is the part of being an author or speaking on this stage representing IOD, or working for other with other consultancies, or doing my own sort of project management services. I always try to give my best, and I enjoy what I do. But most of all, as you know me, I like being on the stage and speaking and delivering a message.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. So since you've launched this book, Managing Change, the Science of Happy Endings, what is it that why did you release it? What was the courage behind this, and why did you decide to go for it again?
Okay. Right. So the first book, which is I have it here. I'm not sure whether you guys are going to see it,
Yeah. No.
but it's called the Cracking the Change Management Code. It was released now 2 years ago, and it was sort of introduction to change management, project management. It was a book that was really sort of a business book that focused very much on the methodologies around the change, and it very much useful for anyone who is new to change management, project management, or anyone who wants to sort of refresh the methodologies
Mhm.
and the skill. Now, the second book is a little bit
Yeah.
enhancement of it. It gives a little bit of a stories and example of the change. So it's not really a training material as such, although
Yeah.
it's still a business book. But it has examples. For instance, it's got examples about Lloyd's Banking Group, and how
Yeah.
the culture has changed in the group, and how is that
Yeah.
has been achieved. And actually, I have worked with Lloyd's Banking Group about 4 times, and I can
Mhm.
see the progression. I can see the difference in culture, how the culture is now more diverse, how they are more agile. So
Very
it's
true.
very
Yeah.
interesting to actually be there in person and watch that space. The book also sort of gives example from the sort of American airlines, logo, Nike, how those companies achieved the change, and what were the success measures. I'm also talking there about, yes, still a lot of about methodologies and the good practice, practice
Yeah.
methods, but also touching about the importance of digitalization. I need to
Organization.
learn to
That's
pronounce
a
that
handful,
word.
that one.
Also, you know, how to manage change in a metaverse, and talk a little bit about artificial intelligence, all the sort of topics that will be big or are already big at the moment. So it's definitely enhanced, and it's got a little bit more flavor around it and more examples and stories. So I definitely encourage everyone to read it and see how they can sort of refresh the knowledge about the change and how to manage projects.
Well, this is what the interview is all about, is
Yeah.
actually telling people exactly, about this, the launch of this book. And so people are tuning in and checking it out. Yvonne is always active on LinkedIn, so you should definitely engage with her. You mentioned some key topics, being agile, managing your time, prioritizing yourself. Um, what have you learned to present these ideas in your book, and what key problems and issues are you finding in today's business world?
Right. Okay. So that's very big questions. Actually, so a few questions in
It is, yeah,
one. So let's start sort of about the book and myself. So I sort of in the beginning of the
yeah,
book, I do talk about sort of the change and the mind, and really the most important thing to understand, and we all know it, is that the change is constant. The only
that's
thing
right, yeah.
that's changes is change, right? So it's there's nothing really new about it, and there's not much that we can do. However, as humans, the way we have been designed is to resist change because it's all about safety. So the word constant is actually very interesting. So the C here, and I'm explaining this a little bit more details in the book. The C is about a courage. So in order to adapt into change, we have to be courageous about it. O is for
Yeah,
opportunity. So sometimes changes impose on upon us. For instance, the movement of technology, or or the impact of
yeah,
the COVID-19, where we all had to adapt and change. There was really no choice about it. But looking at the opportunities in the world, and there is so much research that the businesses can do, and they can see, how do we adapt the business to the changing environment. So it's all about looking for the opportunities, and some
mhm,
opportunities are opening the doors, and some opportunities are closing the doors. So that's very important. The N is the new, so letting go of the old mindset, the old way of doing things, and giving ourselves permission to move with the time, move with the flow. S is for small. So, all changes can be very, very overwhelming.
yeah,
So it's very important to break it down to small pieces. And actually, in Agile, talking about methodologies in Agile development, we are implementing things in sprints. So usually sort of 2 week sprint. Um, we run it, we test it, we review it, we discuss it, and we deliver small incremental changes in order to build the eventual product. So that's very important to bear in mind. T is for timing. So this is again about understanding the environment you are in, and make sure that the timing is right for your product release, or your idea to come to flourish. A is for active. So this is about actually being active participant in the change. Um, so if your organization you are in is changing
slow
and
to
making,
adapt. Sometimes they are very slow to adapt to these changes
sometimes
in
they are slow
technology.
to
Yeah,
adapt, but in the end of the day, we have to participate in the change rather than oppose the change. So
very
N
true.
is
Yeah,
nimble, so it's all about being very agile and going with the flow rather than being stuck in our behavior, in our way of thinking. T is for tenacity, and this is very famous statement that Michael Tyson said, that everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. What it really means is, yes,
yeah,
obviously things will go wrong. It's normal. Whether it's life, whether it's project, whether it's business, but it's about having the persistence and the strength to work through it and assess the impact and keep going. So in my book, there are a few chapters. I mean, all the book is about change, but in some of the chapters that sort of I would want someone to focus is about the fact that the change starts with you. And there's a chapter 4, which is actually called Change Starts with You,
I was going to talk
Me, and
about that.
Them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we're going, then it's important to think about the psychology, the influence, the persuasion. Chapter, for instance, 11 talks about the art of communication and art of negotiation.
So a full range, all round topic about what is going on from that sort of level. And you mentioned that science can harness happiness. What do you mean by that in terms of bringing greater stability in getting results?
Right. Everything in the everything in the world is part of, no, in one way, a world and business is a chaos, but on the other way, on the other side, everything is based around physics. So there is always some kind of formula of how to deliver project, deliver business, how to resolve mathematical equations. So when you work with organizations, with every organization's got procedures and processes to follow, and those procedures, processes, and methodologies enable you to deliver project according to those regulations and procedures in this organization. And yes, sometimes we will think that those processes, methodologies are sort of a red tape, but without a proper structure, without governance, it's very difficult to deliver anything and have a measures whether we succeeded or not.
It's amazing. And so you're pretty like, well, I think you're really well adapted in this sort of this area of topic. Was this something that grew in your career, Yvonne? Did you see a lot of like changes happening and how organizations have, cut down on management and staff to bring the best? Or do you see something changing in terms of the way people behave in that sense?
So obviously the change always happens, and
Is it
I've
behavior
been
or is it more?
oh so there's multiple influences, right? um and I've been in the industry for working industry for over 20 years, and we have, these are sort of geopolitical impacts, these are definitely technological impacts, behavioral impacts. So the development of technology for sure has the biggest impact on all of us. Who would thought that we will be using our mobile phones non-stop? When, I don't know how old you are, but when I
We're
was
always
growing up,
using it. Yeah.
we didn't
Mm,
have mobile phones, and now this is a normal thing to do. We wouldn't be able to have the
true.
conversation via video about 20 years ago. It wouldn't be a normal thing to do. But actually now
I agree.
the sort of
Mhm.
what happened during the COVID-19 and how the organizations had to adapt, they were forced to use Zoom and other sort of video conference facilities and Teams, whatever those are, to enable to carry out the business. So definitely the technological advancements, behavioral advancements. So for instance, recognition about the diversity, the Me Too movement. It is about how we treat each other as humans, and
Yeah.
recognizing the importance of having different perspective, recognizing also the different generation
shift, yeah, the generational shift.
generation shift, and how the younger generation think and how the older generation think, and having the broader views and the sense of belonging of to the company creates
Yeah.
changes already with that company. So yes, I have sort of observed it all, and I can definitely say that for with all the organizations that I have worked with, and sometimes I return to them, the changes have been very positive, very positive in terms of actually how you as a sort of employer feels within that organization. And that is very important, because the change starts with that one person, with that one employee in their
Yeah.
organization. The more buy-in you will get, not only from the senior stakeholders but from your employees, the less resistant there is. The quicker, the easier the change gets implemented.
Let me ask you a question. Is it, are they quick learners in terms of when you when somebody comes into the company, do they pick it up very quickly in terms of how technology is changing these people in terms of working for the organization? Are they becoming agile? Are they keeping up to date with it all?
So if you don't
It's a big
adapt to
question.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
if you don't adapt to the technology and the
Yeah.
changes, you will die. And I can, for sure, all the big organization, they might not be sort of speaking about it publicly. They are all adapting to new technologies, to using robotic, artificial intelligence. This is all taking
Yeah.
place. Now, obviously, I cannot speak for every person that joins the organization. We are all individuals, and we have our own way of learning, and we have our own particular interest, and not the same training is appropriate for the same person, even within subject like artificial intelligence, right? There are
Which
so
is always
many.
changing. Mm.
Yes, but there is, artificial intelligence. You can think about, the end bit, which is sort of the machine learning, the coding bit. But you can also talk about the artistic part of it, how you use the
Yeah.
applications in combination with the artificial intelligence. And these are two very different subjects and very different areas to learn. And depending what is your interest and what is your role in the organization, you will focus on a different learning and different adaptation. So I don't think there is a sort of one sort of educational
One
learning for
wins
all.
that all.
It is
Yeah.
very, yeah, it is very specific. But I feel that we definitely it kind of become now a subject about artificial
We're becoming
intelligence,
very, very
but
deep now. Yeah.
but whether it's artificial intelligence or whether there is something else, we have to adapt, and
Because Yvonne,
we
you're the
have.
right lady to talk about this. I think with your book and how you've sort of generalized all the topics, you're the perfect woman to talk about this. And I think we all need to learn from you as well. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I am always learning. I think the biggest I think benefit anyone can have, or the biggest sort of
hmm,
selling point, is having the open mindset where
yeah.
we constantly learning. There are so many new technological advancements that surround us and emerge, that in order for us really just to sustain our way of life, we need to adapt. We need to be able to use different application. We need to adapt how we speak to various colleagues in different countries. Perhaps there will
Yeah.
be more automation, and maybe the metaverse will also bring us a different way of experiencing the world.
It's just a
And
global thing, isn't it? In that
that's
sense.
right,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
And some aspects of it will be adopted faster, some slower. But in order for us to stay ahead or keep up, we have to learn. simply to understand what's going on. You know, if you're standing in one place, you're not going to stand in one place. You're going to fall behind because everything else is moving
Everyone's
forward.
moving. It's a very competitive world, would you say, in that sense? Is it becoming
Yes,
more
but
competitive or less?
well, you know, I really think that it always has been competitive.
Yeah.
You know, that there always have been sort of industries that existed and stopped existing, and new industries came. You know, so it always has been competitive and will be.
I want to just
But
go back to the book
yeah.
and the
Hmm.
book only. Um, was there a personal reason why you wrote this? Was there something passionate about from the first book to where you are now?
Well, as I said in the beginning, I think it was just more, I wanted to expand on the first book, which was really a more sort of training material. And I wanted to add a little bit of a sort of focus and stories and examples of changes that have happened. So it's sort of more expansion, but also wanted to, I guess for my personal satisfaction also to sort of
Yeah,
show to myself that, you know, I can write one book, but I
you
can
can
write two
write it.
books,
Yeah,
or maybe I can write more books. You know, so I
more in the
have
pipeline,
the
or do you think?
well, I have actually have some ideas, and I have some already notes, and I have written already some things that could be delivered as a book. I'm just now thinking, talking about the technology, and thinking about, you know, the new generation. I'm trying to think what is the best way to deliver the message, and perhaps maybe rather than deliver it as a sort of paper book, maybe I deliver that in a different medium, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a sort of video training. But I'm trying to also adapt to technology and see whether, apart from the sort of paper version, or of course you can download it on a digitally as well, but whether perhaps a voice version will be better, because I know a lot of we're all very busy, right? And
Yeah, this
including
is
me, I listen to a lot of things. I multitask. You know, I will go for a walk and I will listen to some podcasts, and
same as me.
perhaps yes, and perhaps my next book, if it comes, it will be
Okay.
audio. I don't know. We're
We'll
working on
see what
it.
happens. Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll all be
Yeah.
tuned in. I hope my audience have enjoyed this interview from Yvonne. I think Yvonne's a marvelous person. She such a hardworking woman and very in tune to the business world, always active, in what she does in this space, especially for IOD. And so, it's a definite must check. Go to Amazon, go to Waterspoons, go and see what the book is all about. What's three pointers, just to wrap this up, would you like to share about, we've just started the new year, and so what three pointers you can give us from your book?
Right. Okay. Before I go there, I think it's very important
Mhm.
because I get a lot of questions. People actually ask me about the title and the picture.
Yeah,
So,
please.
so, so let me just clarify it. First, in terms of, you know, what is the butterfly? So
I
there
did
is
ask you
there is a
that.
yeah, so
Yes.
there's a reason why there's a butterfly on the picture. And actually I think it's a page 34 in the book, where I am talking about the story of how basically the butterfly comes to life. So I attend a lot of events and so on, and I had a pleasure to meet um Sasha Romanovich, who is the CEO of All for Finance. And we were talking, and she reminded me about the story as about the butterfly. So, and it is, how do butterfly begin? You know, how do they become so
Yeah, how
beautiful,
they
and
grow. Yeah.
how do they grow? And there's a saying by Richard Bach, the writer, who says that what a caterpillar calls the end of the world, the master calls a butterfly. And sort of I put a little bit of
I've heard of
details
that.
about, you know, how the caterpillar transitions into the butterfly, and it is a painful process. It takes a while, and basically recreates a whole new system. And this is a very good comparison to how the organization changes and all the difficulties that it has to go through, and all the pains before it actually becomes fully functioning organization with the change it wanted to achieve. So that's why it's the butterfly
So that
on
analogy came
there.
from the
That's
butterfly.
right. So
Right.
I think it's a perfect metaphor for why the change is difficult
Hmm.
and what can come
Interesting.
of it. In terms of the title, The Science of Happy Endings, I think we sort of touched on it a little bit beginning. It's, in the end of the day, we want all of the change to succeed, and we want the happy endings, right? And the truth is that already 70% of all projects fail, and so we need to follow the procedures, we need to follow the
Quite high
methodologies, we need to
stats.
have the yes, we need to have the change champion. So it's about having clear project objective, effective communication, stakeholder engagement, risk management, quality assurance, being adaptable, flexible, lessons learned, and so on. And all of those points are in the book. And that's why it's called The Science of Happy Endings, because at the end of the day, there's a science behind all that we do. Nothing really sort of comes out of, magic. It's really hard work and dedication, having the goal, purpose, and plan.
Wow. Wow. What
I
an
can go
interview.
on it, but
Wow.
otherwise we'll
No,
be
no,
here.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
You've
yeah.
absolutely chuffed me. And
Hmm.
it's not easy to write a book. Let's get it right here, to jot all those points down for the leaders of tomorrow and the management of today. I mean, this is definitely a book that's going to help people. Would you say in that sense? It would give them the support they need, right?
Well, of course, I think it's always, no matter how much some of us think we are experts, there's
Mhm.
always a good place to be humble and sort of refresh our memory, remind ourselves about, methodologies, and see how we can change it or adapt it, because as the world changes, methodologies change as well.
That's
Before
right.
everything
Yeah.
was waterfall methodology, then we have agile methodology, then we have an agile scale, and now, what is the new methodology for perhaps
Automation.
for automation and the metaverse? How do we manage change there? And this is the change management is ongoing subject, and it will evolve as we evolve as humans. So the subject is ongoing, and
It's not
I
going
look
anywhere.
forward no and I look forward to anyone that would like to connect with me, and we can have a discussion about it. And I'm always open to
On
interesting
LinkedIn.
points
Mhm.
and education. Yes, you can find me on LinkedIn, but also if you just type my name into Google, Yvonne de Ville, you will find me. I have a website where you can actually purchase the books directly and connect with me. Whether it's just a chat and
Or meet Yvonne at one of the
sharing
IOD events.
ideas.
Yeah, meet her
Oh,
at.
that's right. Yes, that's right. I'm the chair of the Finance and FinTech Group in the Institute of Directors, and we do a lot of events and knowledge sharing. And we have a page on LinkedIn, so please follow that as well, and join me there if you wish.
Wow, thank you, Yvonne, for your time. An absolute honor to hear your thoughts about it. And I look forward to hearing more. Please do engage. I look forward to your feedback and comments on the LinkedIn post. We'll put a link to Yvonne's book as well, so you know exactly directly where to go and buy it. We need to get as many people to do check it out, and we have to sell it. Let's be honest, right? This is all about also being engaging, but you're getting some good alpha here. You're getting some really up-to-date knowledge from Yvonne. So leave some comments on the comments section. Do connect with Yvonne, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Nas. It's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much all to listening. And I look forward to connecting with you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys, and I hope you enjoyed the interview. Thank you. Bye bye.